Y'all, our last destination, y'all, Carlos King. So as y'all know, Married to Medicine just wrapped, and Carlos King did an interview with Quad. So we're going to now go to Show Styles and Spirit. Like, comment, share, subscribe to that beautiful sister, but also to somebody else that you may know. Mess with Colonel Sanders, Tamar Braxton's ex-husband, Tommy. And that also is dating a 21-year-old Solange Knowles' son. Yeah, that Tommy. Let's go to it.
And I want to talk about Quad from Married to Medicine. Her ex-boyfriend King is calling out Carlos King's journalism skills at the same time where he is saying that Quad is lying during her latest
You
interview
a
with
lie.
Carlos.
You a cheat.
And
I don't want you. I don't want you. I don't
to
want you no more.
Carlos
That's
King's
what King is saying.
Instagram page just to see if he had some sort of response. And what I ended up finding was a clip of his series that he does with Lisa Ray on his YouTube channel. And Tommy from Love and Hip Hop is in the comment section, and she's calling out the journalism skills as well. And Tommy from Love and Hip Hop, she is the last person that you want to tick off. So before we get into what King and Tommy had to say, I ask that you please hit the like button on this video as well as subscribe to the channel. Everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged and just my opinion. And the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary on these clips, they are allowed. Okay, so where King gets activated, this is coming from the Bravo Shade Room. They actually have a clip from Dr. Heavenly and Quad's interview with Carlos King. And King is going to call out Quad for lying, and then Carlos is going to catch a stray. So let's get right on it.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Quad and King did date. But by the time the reunion came on, part 2, they were no longer together. And King has said some things on social media. Quad has not. So this is basically her first time saying anything. And, you know, Contessa and Toya were still talking to King. And Contessa said, "You did not want him here." That means that Quad did not want King at the reunion. So that's the context, conjecture, and connection there. Let's get to it.
On into it.
When was the last time that Kirk has reached out to you?
It was recent, very recent. Maybe a few days ago.
Saying what?
I don't. I don't. Here, I don't indulge. Listen.
Did you respond back?
I don't indulge. You know, here's the thing. I'm all in when I'm all in.
When was the last time that Kirk had? Did you respond back?
I don't indulge. You know, here's the thing. I'm all in when I'm all in. I'm so in. I'm so in when I'm all in. Sometimes I can even be blinded that I'm so in. So when I'm all out, kind of all out.
Did you call it quits first?
It was mutual. It was a mutual situation. And when we go back to saying, what was that? Luck ran out. I never worry about luck. Again, like I said earlier, I'm not lucky. I'm blessed. So I don't never worry about luck. So
did you respond back?
Okay, so let's get into what King had to say. He typed, "Stop lying. I asked to end the relationship and haven't had a need to contact you. Stop trying to make yourself look good. These curated interviews and PR stunts are laughable. You have them in a controlled environment with your friends, not with a real journalist that will question you. The performance goes on." And no, it wasn't mutual or amicable. That was another performance and PR stunt. So I have to wonder, is it really King who is typing up these responses on social media, or is it the new woman that's probably in his life? And number two, it's just giving like real sassy and like catty vibes. Like you just have to say something. You have to let everyone know that you broke up with her, you dumped her, and it just comes off like you have to try and embarrass her. I can't stand a man who's just like on that energy where he's trying to embarrass the woman, wants her to feel shamed or feel low or feel bad. Because God forbid you have a healthy amount of self-confidence and you know your worth. They have to try and, burst your bubble. That's what they're hoping for.
Okay, so let's talk about it, right? I agree and disagree with Show Styles and Spirit. And by the way, like, comment, share, subscribe to her. She is amazing, 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 amazing. I will agree and disagree, right? I will agree that this does come across sassy, right? However, right, if Quad has the right to speak, does it King as well? Now, a man never has to embarrass a woman at all, right? But what we also cannot do is negate the embarrassing behavior she exhibited in the relationship. Let me say that on the big screen 2 more times. What we cannot negate is the potentially, let me rephrase that, potentially embarrassing behavior that she did in the relationship. If he did embarrassing behavior, so can the woman. If he did embarrassing behavior, so can the woman. If he did embarrassing behavior, so can the woman. And let's talk about Chili and Nick Cannon. So remember when, Chili said that she accidentally reposted a conspiracy theory that Michelle Obama was a man, that she, didn't know who she was contributing to. And then T-Boss said, my teammate, my band member voted for him, right? And then it was more leaking, and then Salt chimed in, right? And then we had Nick Cannon, Amber Rose, that interview to the point where that he got too much, and then Nick Cannon had to pull down the interview. I brought up a conversation about Sharik Rogers and Nick Cannon, right? Here's the the guy, darling, to show Styles and Spirit to everybody in play. Do you get big mad at the message, or do you get big mad at the messenger delivering the message? Because here's the thing: if a man, right, and I'm equal opportunity. If a man is attacking the issue or the issues that the woman did wrong in the relationship, is he really wrong? Because women have the right to attack the issues that the man did in the relationship. Now, I don't think that King is wrong by saying Carlos King is not a journalist. Now, Carlos King did go to college for journalism. But as we have seen in the media, entertainment, and content landscape, what a journalist has evolved. I did a whole live on it, comparing myself and Michael Strahan. Michael Strahan is a journalist. I'm a content creator. Journalists broadcast what people could be curious about. Content creators reflect what people are embracing. Journalists broadcast what people could be curious about. Content creators reflect what people embrace. Journalists broadcast what people could be curious about, rather, and content creators reflect what people embrace. If there is anything going on outside of media, entertainment, and content, right? Nobody in the midnight hour, in the noon hour, or after hours will not, and will never call Carlos King to go on ABC News and be a voice of reason for the nation to understand what the hell is going on in the country. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. In the past, present, or afterlife, right? So I don't think King is wrong. Number two, Carlos King and Quad are friends, right? So, of course, it's easier to do an interview with a friend because there's a comfortability there. And your friend can protect you, cover you, and can provide that shade in a fashion where they don't get no smoke. Because we all saw what happened to Portia Williams on Tamron Hall. Portia Williams got big mad because Tamron Hall held her feet to the fire, right? Let's keep going. Nothing but love to Ebony. Like, comment, share, subscribe to Show Styles and Spirit. Here we go. Look at how the sun just came upon me. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Hang on. We're going to bounce out here in a minute. There I am. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. Let's continue.
So that's what this is giving. Now, are Dr. Heavenly and Quad, are they friendly? Are they friends with Carlos? Yes, they are. Now, Carlos, he has a large platform. He has had his podcast for years. Do I think that it's normal for him to ask them for an interview? They're on a popular reality TV show. Yeah, I think that's normal. I think the coincidence is that they are friends. Similarly, Funky Dineva has a large platform. What if he decided to interview them? They're friends as well. So what, they're friends with large platforms are just not supposed to interview them? That's ridiculous.
I agree with that.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. He's like, not with a real journalist that will question you. Well, I mean, King,
that's factual.
As far as Carlos's questions, I don't think that he really creates an environment where he goes in. Does he ask some direct questions? For sure. I remember when Carlos interviewed Drew Sidora and he asked her about her dealings with Ty Young. She wasn't comfortable. She was like, I just wasn't. She even said she wasn't comfortable with doing things, but he had to get her to say that. She tried to say something that was very like PG. And then Carlos said, well, did you two do anything, physical or anything that was like of affection? I'm paraphrasing. And that's when she said, we did some things. I wasn't comfortable doing other things, so he will kind of prod if someone is like, avoiding the real question, avoiding the answer to give. So I don't think that's totally, accurate.
But
all Carlos asked was, has he heard from you? And she said yes.
King got the right.
Why would Quad have to lie about that? She could have just said, no, I don't hear from him. But, somebody's lying because King said that he hasn't had a need to contact her. All I'll say is, King, if you got an iPhone and you think you can delete the text messages, if Quad has
black
MacBook,
women are the
and I'm sure she
FBI,
has it all connected to her
God,
iPhone,
they are.
even if you delete those texts from you and Quad's text thread, that MacBook is like a cash register and it's just going to have every single receipt. Even if you delete it from your cell phone, it's already in the text thread if she has a MacBook. So, but somebody is lying. Because Quad says she heard from you recently, and you're saying that you haven't had a need to contact her, but maybe there was a want to contact her. But she said that she doesn't indulge. She didn't explicitly say no, she did not respond to you, but I'm guessing she didn't respond to you because I feel like your caption would have said, I text you and you text right back. Statement. Or, you sent me a picture. So it's giving, you probably have tried to get back like that Jaheim song, and she's been ignoring you. But oh my gosh, Carlos totally caught astray. But let me know in the comments, do you think that because Carlos King is friends with Dr. Heavenly and Quad, that equates to not real journalism because they're friends?
I believe it could.
But Oprah Winfrey has interviewed lots of people that she's friends with. She's friends with Maria Shriver, from the Kennedy family, and lots of other people
Maria
that
Shriver
she
has
is
a
friends
longer
with.
resume.
So I think that's fine. You're not supposed to interview your friends if they're popular, if they're famous, if they're public figures. That doesn't make sense to me. And if anything, if we're honest, that's like the plug. Hello. So let's go ahead and check out his Instagram. Okay. So I want to show you all this clip with him and Lisa Ray.
Lisa Ray can hold her own talk show. She don't really need to be with Carl.
And then we're going to get into what Tommy had to say in the comment section. It's something about clips on Instagram and the blogs The comment section sometimes is more detailed in the story, definitely more entertaining if it's like a funny story. But let's go ahead and get into it.
What is happening to Solange's 21-year-old son? Joel Smith was recently seen out with Tommy Lee. She's 41, he's 21. There's a video of them kissing, making out.
We'll say this, Solange will probably approach this in a way in which this does not and should not come between her and her son. Because if you try to bark too loud, that he might just go in that direction, period. You know, I will say this, at 21 and at her age, what's the chances of it lasting? I think not, you know. I think that he has so much more of the world to see.
Lisa Ray
and I
needs
think
her
that,
own
you know,
talk show.
she
don't have to
probably
be
would want somebody that's
she
more
experienced. She does not have to be with Carlos King.
I think that maybe perhaps she's having some fun. It seemed like she was not as concealed, you know what I mean? I don't know if she had a drink or two, you know what I mean? But it seems like she...
Because here's the gag. You ready for this? Carlos King needs Lisa Ray more than Lisa Ray needs Carlos King. Carlos King needs Lisa Ray more than Lisa Ray needs Carlos King. Carlos King needs Lisa Ray more than Carlos King needs Lisa Ray more than Lisa Ray needs Carlos King. Because like I said before, have y'all noticed anytime Carlos does anything on YouTube, he can never hold his own? Ever. He's always got to be connected to somebody or to be a somebody. He's always got to be connected to somebody or to be a somebody. He's always got to be connected to somebody or to be a somebody. And we all know reality with the King. It's just Nightcap with Carlos King remixed. Okay? Nightcap with Carlos King failed on the Oprah Winfrey Network. He tried to come back with Reality with the King specials. And then somehow Charlamagne the God believed that platform deserved a space, a voice, and to be elevated. With Charlamagne the God, I just want you to know, you're with a lie, a cheat, and I promise you, you ain't gonna want him, you ain't gonna want him, you ain't gonna want him no more. But you're gonna have to learn the hard way. Child, I mean, just, you want to learn reality TV from him, but Will Packer is $1 billion box office director. Child, let's roll on. And not to mention, too, Will Packer produced Queen's Court that Lisa Ray was on Bravo and Peacock. But hey, listen, Charlamagne the God's a smart one. Let's continue.
Like she's having a good time. It seems like, hey, you know, whatever. And when that takes over and that happens, then you might get a little wild. But I don't know a lot about her. The things that the backstory that I have heard about her was that she was on Baddies and that she has, you know, I don't know how many kids. And I want to say that I think I heard that she is trying to get custody of her kids. So that means that she lost them. I don't know how. I heard that she's been to jail, but having some of us all, I've heard that she likes to fight, but hey, if you got to fight, she got hands, you know what I mean? As a mom, do you want your child to be with the best representation of a lady? Someone that you can, you know, live a life with and grow with? Yeah, you want that. Do you want someone that has so much of a reputation? I think.
Now, do you see how Lisa Ray is holding her own? Because she has that wisdom, she's got that sauce, and she understands the totality of who she is. You see, Carlos ain't adding nothing because he has nothing to contribute. Can you imagine if Carlos King was your uncle? Imagine Carlos King being your dad, and he produces chaos, strife, and misery on reality TV, and you expect your Uncle Carlos King to help you. I would rather trust Lisa Ray McCoy in the foxhole before Carlos King. And the gag is nobody in the industry elevates him. The gag is nobody ever sees him at the Emmys, the Grammys, the Oscars, or the Tonys. But most of all, you don't really hear Carlos King working with a lot of networks, do you? And I don't want to hear, well, you don't know what Carlos is working on. I know that what you do in secret, God will bless you publicly. But usually there's a consistency of what you do behind the scenes that when it comes out publicly, the public agrees with it. And that doesn't happen with Carlos King. Let's continue.
I think not. However, change is real. You know what I mean? Things can change. I don't know how long ago those things that I just mentioned had happened to her, because she could be a whole different person now. I don't know. Is this what you meant for the public to see and to know? Is this a setup? You know, was this something to get your name out there or to have people to talking? I don't think that she's short of having people talk about things that she's done before. You know, I don't know if she's always in the press or not. This right here is nothing new, meaning an age gap. Age gap has been happening forever. It's just been more happening prevalent with men, with younger women, and him taking her and saying, come on, let's start a family.
Excellent commentary, Felicia.
What is happening?
Okay, so let's get into what Tommy had to say. Now, what triggered Tommy is Lisa Ray said that she thought that Tommy had to like get her kids back, so she must have lost them. And I remember on Love and Hip Hop, because Tommy was on Love and Hip Hop like season
in an interview
like
with,
6, 7, like 6 and 7 or 5, 6 and 7. And she had like her oldest daughter, and then she has 2 daughters. So maybe like one was like elementary school and the other one was like middle school, almost high school. And then remember around 2020, the year of Carnival 19, Tommy was about to be a grandma. Her oldest daughter was pregnant and she was a teenager. So that young lady would be like in her early 20s now. And then so her daughter, that was like in elementary, kind of like middle school. By now, she's probably like a young adult as well, her baby. And her baby daughter, Tommy, remember Tommy's baby girl took like a gummy to school. And it was a huge mess. And Tommy like went to jail. And then Tommy used to go to jail a lot. And she used to have a goal to like go a complete year without going to jail. And I know that may sound like, oh my gosh, she can't go a year without going to jail. But yeah, that was a goal for her at once. So if you watch Love and Hip Hop all these years, you know.
Something was
but here is what Tommy had to say. She said, never lost custody of my kids. I raised them on my own, although they have present fathers. I wish people wouldn't speak unless they actually cared about the topic enough to have facts. Speaking on things that's trending with no real facts is careless journalism. Okay, and then.
Now, Tommy Lee, I'm going to just say this right damn now. If the fate of the world's on the line, laser beam on the globe, and the aliens said, we got to sacrifice one of you to save the world, we would sacrifice you and keep Lisa Ray McCoy. Understand? That's non-negotiable. Nobody would stop us from giving you to the aliens. You are not that powerful. You are just as powerful as Nalina, which ain't really saying anything because she shit her damn self, just like you are. And number 3, Lisa Ray McCoy actually gave you a lot of love, grace, and space, right? So that's the thing that you can't really get upset about. You can't get upset about the history that you've made for yourself, and then people are recollecting your history. If you want people to tell a better history of you, you need to create a better history. In the words of Cat Williams, if you want me to tell people about the history between you and me, you should have treated me better. Like what it is, cuz, what's up with you, mad? Let's continue.
And it's pretty much like other people in the comments, I don't think Carlos dared to reply to Tommy. Totally don't blame him. And then she said, it's cool to say, I don't know, and move on to what you do know. So, because Carlos posed the question, what's going on with Solange's son, Jules, and Tommy from Love and Hip Hop dating? She's 41, he's 21. And then, so Tommy is saying Lisa Ray could have said, well, I don't really know her, but, you know, I think the age gap is a lot. I'm sure it won't last. He has lots of life ahead of him. He'll want to date all sorts of women. She'll probably be looking for something more permanent in terms of a relationship. I'm sure it's just a fling. She could have said something like that, very general in terms of a May-December match. She didn't have to go into what she thought she knew about Tommy and her kids. So I'm on Tommy's side. Then Tommy writes, my name is out there, babes, against my will. Y'all just will not stop. So that's not the case, shaking my head. Now, I will say this. While I think that King was probably a little more unfair with Carlos, saying that, you know, it wasn't real journalism because he's friends with Quad and Dr. Heavenly, I will say in this instance, I'm totally on Tommy's side. I don't know if Carlos doesn't know anything about Tommy or if he forgot those older seasons of Love and Hip Hop, because he could have corrected Lisa and have said, you know, I don't remember ever hearing that she lost her kids. And I remember when they were younger, she had them on Love and Hip Hop. Because there was a scene that Tommy filmed at one of those, the trampoline parks with this Asian woman, the Asian influencer who does the nails. And she's married to a Black man. And during Carnival 19, she made a TikTok saying the N-word. What's that girl's name? Really gaudy, long nails, really almost fake East Coast accent, culture vulture.
Oh,
Tommy filmed a scene with her, and we saw her kids then. So, and you know, Carlos, I know he worked on Love and Hip Hop way before Tommy joined, but you know, he could have said like, I don't remember her ever losing her kids. You know, we've seen her kids on TV and they were young, and she went to jail when one of her kids took one of her gummies. So she definitely has her kids, you know, so I actually am on Tommy's side when it comes to this situation. Nobody wants anybody saying that they lost their kids and had to fight to get.
Now, show styles and spirit, from how you are given that context, conjecture, and connection, I agree with you on the basis of no parent wants to hear that they lost their children. In the same token, on the other side of that, if you move in a behavior that shows that you have a careless energy about not caring for your responsibilities or your life, people do have the right to talk about you. So I agree and disagree, but I respect, love, and revere show styles and spirit. So let's continue.
To get them back, and that's not the case. So I'm totally on Tommy's side with that. But let me know what you all think. So between the two instances with Quad and King and Carlos, or Lisa Ray, Tommy and Carlos, which one do you think is the careless journalism? I thank you all so much for checking out this video. Please hit the like button on this video as well as subscribe to the channel. I hope that you all had a thriving Thursday. I'm just so glad that I survived it. I went to the gym immediately after work, and then I came home, and now I'm creating content. I think I'm going to get ready to turn in for bed soon. I'm just so happy that the weekend is here, y'all. I am just excited. And are y'all going to go see Halle Bailey's new movie, You, Me, and Tuscany next weekend? I cannot wait. I cannot wait to go see it. It looks so good. And the gentleman is one of the actors from Bridgerton, and he is really hot. Okay, so I feel like this movie is going to be super romantic.
Ebony going to have herself a good time at the movies, as you can hear.
Go see it or go solo and take yourself out. And I will talk with you all soon. Bye.
Ebony reminds me of Sherry G. And by the way, shout out to Sherry G. Love that sister as well. Oh my God. By the way, Ebony is wifey material. Can we just say that? She absolutely is. Now, from Show Styles and Spirit, we're going to go to reviews and recaps because she got some tea. Carlos King had something to say about reality TV. Now, this is from the cosplayer of a supposed king of reality TV. Let's watch this.
The podcast has saved me.
Guys, hit that like button if you have not already. Smash that like button, please, and thank you, everybody. I hope you guys are doing well and enjoying the show. Get yourself a nice little drink.
Hey lovelies, you're welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. Now please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tap that bell button right next to it so you know every single time that I post or go live. Also, you can now hype videos, so please hype the videos so that you can put us in the algorithm so that our audience and more people can find us. Thank you so much. Now let's get into it.
But Carlos is here. So, guys, hit that like button if you have not already. Smash that like button, please, and thank you, everybody. I hope you guys are doing well and enjoying the show. Get yourself a nice little drink. Yeah.
The podcast has saved me. I love it. Producing reality will always be a love of mine, but the industry has changed and it's not fun anymore.
Okay. Y'all heard that.
Let me flip that.
Producing, he loves it, but it's no longer.
The industry has changed.
Yeah.
The podcast has saved me. I love it. Producing reality will always be a love of mine, but the industry has changed and it's not fun anymore.
Okay.
The podcast has saved me. I love it. Producing reality will always be a love of mine, but the industry has changed and it's not fun anymore.
Okay. Y'all heard that.
Y'all heard that, right? Okay.
Producing, he loves it, but it's no longer fun anymore. That must suck, right? But then I also feel like, sir, the reason it's not fun for you is probably because of the kind of talent you have. I don't want to be rude, but let's think about the people that you are currently producing Love and Marriage Huntsville with. No star quality. Starless. No star quality whatsoever. No fun, vibrant energy whatsoever. Think about a Portia. Portia would always bring vibrant, fun energy, no matter whether or not the storyline, she has a storyline or not, or whether her storyline is a huge part of the show for that season, whatever the case may be, she would still have that very fun, vibrant, like fun energy, that vibe that she can bring to the show, right? And so this is why I always feel like no matter what, if Portia, people like Nene with great energy, fun, vibrant, those people can always bring that energy wherever they are. That was the same with Melody, right? Melody had this very infectious, I said had, not because she doesn't have it anymore, she still does. I just mean when she was on the show. Melody brought that infectious, vibrant, fun energy, right? She was about her business, but she knew how to have fun. She knew she had a really fun personality. Her personality wasn't like overly serious. You see how she is always vibing with the people that work for her and even the fans when like she does lives, you know, back in the day when she would do lives and talk to like some of the fans and people will come up on her live to talk to her. You could just tell she could talk to anybody and it would be a fun time.
I fully agree with reviews and recaps on this take here. And let me explain something else too. You know why people really love Roa? It's not just because it's black women, but it is the prestige, the energy of the fan base, but most of all, it is how people connect to it. I've always said, and Roa is this type of show, you may not watch Roa, but you expect it to be on TV. You take off Love and Marriage Huntsville, I promise you nobody's going to miss it. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. Nobody is going to miss it. It barely gets reviewed now. I bet you if you type in Roa season, what's the season 16, right? Let's see something. What season of Real Housewives of Atlanta? Season 17. If you type in RHOA season 17 reviews, I bet you will have more search results. Give me a moment. So here it is right here. Let me zoom in. You have 1,900 watching. You have 13,000 views from another content creator. Let me just scroll down. $2,200 views. $1,500 views. $9,900 views. You see how there's a pulse there? Now, if I pulled up, and I'm not going to because there's no pulse with that decrepit, dilapidated, and just really need to be put out to pasture disrespectfully of a show. If I pull up that show in the reviews, there's no pulse at all. At all, right? So, like I said, people look forward to Roa because there's something to look forward to. Love and Marriage Huntsville, there's nothing to look forward to. When you have people with mugshots, when you have people infighting with each other all the time, and when you have instability in the cast, nobody wants to watch that. Reality TV is supposed to be a mental narcotic to relax you, to be like, you know what, at least my life ain't that. So if all you can produce, Carlos King, is strife, chaos, and misery, then of course it ain't gonna be fun. I'm just keeping it a buck. Let's get back to reviews and recaps.
If you even think about like the TikTok lives that she would do for 7th Avenue Beauty, normally I would hardly ever watch, actually let me be clear, I would never normally watch a TikTok live, right? Where anyone is selling products or whatever, because I'm just like, it just feels very product heavy,
yes,
boring. But I would watch that, not just to support her, but because it was usually fun, right?
Yeah.
Like tap, tap, tap the screen.
It don't cost the thing.
You know, just different things that she would say that would just make it fun.
She would have
and
phrases,
so I feel like that energy is missing from Love and Marriage Huntsville.
She will offer live.
All we get is Tisha and Destiny bickering, Trish struggling to get her words out.
Not to mention too, what Melody knows how to do great is she knows how to take an inch and make it a mile, right? So she knew how to utilize the show as a vehicle, but she was the platform. She utilized the show as the vehicle, but she was the platform. She utilized the show as the vehicle, but she was the platform. And you don't have anybody moving in that energy. So they exist, but they're not resonating. The show exists, but it's not resonating. The show exists, but it's not resonating. Let's keep going.
The Marriage Huntsville. All we get is Tisha and Destiny bickering, Trish struggling to get her words out, Kimmy supporting and riding for Tisha and looking like she has no backbone, Kimmy basically, you know, being so babyish when it comes to Maurice and putting up with nonsense, in my opinion. These are the kind of things that we are exposed to, and these are the kind of things that we watch. If it's not fun for us, I can understand how it ain't even fun for you, sir. It's the talent. You need to get more fun people. Don't just hire people because they know Martell and they can bring some story about Martell and his infidelities or whatever to the show. Find people that actually have great, fun, funny personalities and add them to the show for comedic effect. That would make it fun.
I fully agree once again with reviews and recaps. Here's the problem, beautiful. In order for a snake to move, it's from the head down, right? So if the head of production doesn't move in that energy, then the actions and choices will be reflected in how they move. If the head is fucked up, then the choices and decisions that come from the head will also be fucked up. If the head, Carlos King, is fucked up and his decisions and his actions are fucked up, then it will be reflective in the production. That's also a fuck up. So I agree, but here's the thing. Just because you put lipstick on a pig doesn't mean that that pig doesn't need to be disrespectfully slaughtered. That's why I say he's a cosplayer of being a supposed king of reality TV. You have a love for it, but yet you say it isn't fun. You have a love for it, but you say it isn't fun. You have a love for it, but yet you say it isn't fun. When I typed in Own's Instagram post about Bell Collective, I said, Selena don't need this show. She could carry her own show. Bring It brought black people a lifetime. Now people liked it because they know it was the fucking truth. And believe me, that new Bell Collective Birmingham, it's going to fall dead on arrival as well. Because we know the behavior of Carlos King. This is the same dude that did not talk to his Love and Marriage DC cast for a full year. This is the same person, right, that knew or at least could get an idea of all the legal happenings happening, but did not attend to it in real time. And number three, this is the same person, right, that he is allowing, creating the environment and making way for social media to be more of the show than the television show. Social media is more the show than the show is. social media is more the show than the show is. So when you have that type of energy, of course, reality TV is not going to be as fun for you because you don't have a handle, a control, and you don't understand the frequency of how the show needs to be produced, how the show needs to be created, produced, and distributed to the people. Let's continue. I did say I was a media nerd, right? Yes, I did. I did say I was the chemical X of social media. Yes, I did. I did say you can't, you won't, and you never will be able to do what I do. You may know more than me, and you may outdo me in doing more than me, but you will never out-hustle me in being me. Let's continue.
Right? There are certain people where they can enter a room and be friends with everybody just from just making random conversations. Those are the kind of people you need to bring in, because they would bring that fun energy that you are missing. And I understand how sometimes you could have been working on something for such a long time, and then over time you just get fed up or you lose interest. I completely understand that happens. But sometimes the reason is because everything has become such a routine. You need to switch things up, change the players. And so that's what I think he needs to do with Love and Married Huntsville. If not, he will still continue to feel the way he's feeling.
It used to be so fun. And
Bell Collective also ain't really fun. It's just drama all the time. And that's the thing. The reason why Real Housewives of Atlanta was very successful, especially in the early days, is because it was fun. Even, remember, Bye Ashi, like, it was not that deep. Nobody was going to hell and back. Nobody was constantly saying all sorts of things. It was just sly comments. Remember the white refrigerator comment. Oh, is this where you're staying? No, we need to find you a new place. You know, things like that. It was lighthearted. It was not that deep. Now it feels like people are going for the jugular, and the fun has been removed from reality TV in general.
I have an example. Let me show y'all this real quick.
It's not just feeding the hungry only on Thanksgiving. It's not just feeding the hungry only on Thanksgiving. It's an everyday situation. You know what I mean? This is 265 days a year.
That is funny. 265 days? Where the hell that bitch live at?
It's not just...
Now, see, that bitch, Portia, lives in Atlanta. You see how there are ties that people can connect to. You see how people will defend the totality of somebody. And do you see how, regardless of how the show moves, people still want to move with the show? And not to mention, too, Bravo understood their fandom and created a platform for the fandom to engage with the content with BravoCon. OWN doesn't have OWNCon. Now, I've talked about Ready to Love. I talked about how if OWN takes the 90 Day Fiancé strategy and applies that Ready to Love, OWN would be fine. They could do the Ready to Love con and everything that I pitched. But see, when you don't recognize your worth will be diminished by how people don't embrace you. If you don't define your worth, people will define their worth by their investment. If you don't define your worth, people will define your worth by their investment. Let's continue.
I marvel at our time together where we will cuss each other out, love on each other.
I bet he misses Bravo. That is what it's given. It's given I miss Bravo and the girls, honey. Not the Real Housewife, not the Love and Married Huntsville, not the Bell Collective. I miss Bravo and the girls, aka Portia.
Be mad at each other. You know, celebrate each other off camera, attend each other's birthday parties off season. And we never threw each other under the bus. No. It was always...
We still protected each other.
We
went through our stuff.
Yeah. And not that we did.
And it's interesting what he said, they would always protect each other. And I've seen that with a lot of the OG castmates to this day. I would see that every time Phaedra will talk about Nene, it's always in it's always in good stead. Even when Portia and Nene had beef, Portia would still talk about great things and still say she wants Nene back. It felt like no matter what, even Kenya would still say she wants Nene back. It just felt like no matter what, yes, they would say sly comments about each other, but they knew the value that each of them brought to the show, and they never wanted that to change.
Because they gave a damn.
Anything crazy to be protected.
Yeah.
It's more so like it's a family. Like, oh, this bitch had a bad day. I don't give a fuck. Like,
because they gave a damn, they matched the energy, and they understood the weight of each other. Because they gave a damn, they understood the weight of each other, and they matched the energy. Because they gave a damn about each other, they understood the weight of each other, they matched the energy. That's why Carlos King doesn't feel like reality TV is no longer fun, because he's not moving in that energy as the head. So because he's not moving that energy as the head, he's looking at his productions of, oh my God, my shows are shit. He's not saying that. I'm just translating the quiet part out loud. Because he moves as shit, and because his productions move as shit, and because the culture is not embracing the shit, he's got that viewpoint. Let's continue.
like,
Right.
Carlos, you mad? I would never forget season 9 when y'all were like, you mad at us? And we were crossing some bridge, and y'all are shaking the bridge like, Carlos, talk to us. Don't be mad at us. I'm like, I'm about to die and fall off this bridge. Crazy. Portia led that charge.
Yes, shout out to
Portia. But we had fun. I feel like reality stars now, they're not in it for the love of the art.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm no longer interested in being used.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm no longer interested in trying my best to help people out, and they take advantage of it. And the moment they don't get their way, they're blasting your social media, and you're like,
Ooh.
So you said that people are not in love with the art. Didn't you say that the audience can spot a fake from a mile away? So how can you say that people are not in love with the art when you said it's no longer fun for you? Wait a minute. Clock that T. How can you say people are not in the world reality for the art when you're not loving producing the art? How can you say people are not in reality for the art when you're no longer in love with creating the art? And Carlos, if you treat people right, people will talk about you correctly. But if you treat people wrong, people will talk about you wrongly. Let me say it 2 more times. If you treat people correctly, they will talk about you correctly. If you treat people wrongly, they will talk about you wrongly. If you treat people correctly, they will talk about you correctly. But if you treat them wrongly, they will talk about you wrongly. Let's continue.
Ooh, does that sound like Monique? Is it about Monique? Is it about Monique? It could be, it may not be. He did not mention names, but I do wonder if this is about Monique. Because when Monique left Bravo, she then moved over to Carlos and Own, and then now she's back at Bravo. And then, of course, she had that interview where she was basically saying that he did her worse than the white men did her, right? So I do wonder if it is low-key him saying, like, you know, when Bravo didn't want you, I took you out of the trenches, I helped you, and now, you know, you're back at it and you are speaking and saying things against me. So I do wonder if that's what it is.
That's not even true. But because I can't say anything, because I'm the professional and I have a boss who owns the network, I can't say anything. But when reality
you are
stars,
a brand now.
I'm a brand,
celebrity
so I
yourself.
If you have to say that you're a professional, you're not a professional. If you have to say you're a professional, you're a non-professional. If you have to say you're a professional, you're not a professional. Now, I know what people are going to say, well, Bray, don't people have the right to say that they're professional? Based on the context, conjecture, and connection of the conversation is, you can talk about your credentials and, you know, your repertoire, and the vitality of what you have been about, then yes, you have the right to say how you are a professional. But champions don't have to keep calling themselves champions. They just execute that energy. That's it. That's it. That's it. Let's continue.
Just take shit on the chin and just be like, all right, the podcast has saved me.
So he is basically saying he could clap back, but now he cannot because he is a brand. And of course, he got a job that he has to protect. And so I'm definitely here for it. I understand that, like, you know, you have a job you want to protect, you have to protect. Say less. I completely get it. So yeah, absolutely understand. It is what it is. Okay, so
shout out to reviews and recaps, y'all. Y'all, that is the show. We did that in 2 hours, 46 minutes, and 10 seconds. Got 2 positive news stories for you all, and then we're going to head on out of here, okay? So, shout out to Carnival Cruise Lines, everybody, for this destination right here.